and Yang, Martha Stewart, Paris Hilton, Bethany Frankel, Wilmer Valderrama, and many more as we honor the brilliant storytelling and inspiring conversations behind the podcasting explosion. So wonderful. Watch live exclusively on iHeartRadio's YouTube channel and Facebook page, and listen on iHeartRadio Thursday night at 9.
Thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. Whether you want to learn Spanish for future travel plans, French to connect with extended family, or maybe German to land a new job, Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you'll actually use. All you need is 15 minutes a day, and you'll be on your way to confidently speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel is designed by real language experts using a modern conversation-based technique that makes learning fun, engaging, and best of all, memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then sentences gradually get more complex. Soon you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. And with 14 languages to choose from and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll be sure to learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com.
Your goals, your future, your dreams. These things are none of our business. Your symptoms, your work from home sweatpants, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m. That's really none of our business. Because your life is private. And unlike other tech companies, we think your internet should be too. Oh, who's that from? That's none of our business either. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo.
No matter how much you owe, when they come after you, they can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even take your home for back taxes and unfiled tax returns. Don't be a victim. Call Finish Line Tax Solutions today and let us help you put tax problems behind you for good. You may qualify to get a significant reduction to what you owe. It's so much better to deal with a tax problem head on before it deals with you. Don't wait until the IRS begins taking your hard-earned money before you take it seriously. Tax problems don't just go away. You've got to take the first step. Finish Line Tax Solutions can help you get IRS problems out of your life forever. The call and the consultation is free, so you have nothing to lose. Call Finish Line Tax Solutions now and kiss those tax problems goodbye by dialing 800-850-6588. That's 800-850-6588.
Your neighborhood grocery outlet remains committed to providing you a clean and safe shopping experience. Our stores are locally owned and operated by people in your community, and we love helping you save money. Here at Grocery Outlet, we believe bargain shopping should be fun. You'll find great deals on the brands you love, but also take care of all your shopping needs. Savings, safety, and convenience all in one place. Stop by your local Grocery Outlet today.
Grocery Outlet, Bargain Market.
I'm Ed Sheeran, and this is iHeart-Radio. All your favorite stations, where you live or where you used to live. And, of course, virtually every podcast on the planet at your fingertips, and it's all free.
All free.
If you don't already have it, download the free iHeart-Radio app today. iHeart. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
iHeart-Radio.
Gaming electrizante. Capacidad para toda la familia. Bienvenidos a la vida de los gigillonarios. Conoce a la gente con AT&T Fiber, ahora con velocidades Hypergig. Desde que Rubén tiene AT&T Fiber, ya nada le estresa, porque además de sus velocidades Hypergig, su cuenta de internet no sube a los 12 meses. Y si le sumas que toma clases virtuales de yoga, Rubén ahora es Rubén.
Well, guess what? At Express Tax, you can get an advance up to $1,000 when we do your taxes. Everybody could get a check. Good credit, bad credit, it doesn't matter. Give Express Tax Service a call right now.
Visit getcashsacramento.com or call 916-564-4338 and get your advance today.
That's 916-564-4338. Express Tax. Get your advance today.
No W-2 needed.
The certified sales event is on at Maida Honda. Maida Honda has over 40 certified pre-owned Hondas in stock with 0% financing available on select models. See all the savings at MaidaHonda.com. Financing on approved credit, 15,000 max finance.
Get 50% off jeans for the whole fam. Plus, all women's jeans are 50% off, including the OG Straight. Hurry, it's Saturday only at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Valid 129. Select styles only.
Running Stream's unbelievable bandwidth. It's another Lifestyles of Gagillionaires. Meet the AT&T Fiber customers winning at life with hyper-gig speeds. Meet Gagillionaire Terry. While his love of streaming horror movies has him constantly at the edge of his seat, his internet bill won't give him a scare.
Oh, don't go in there. I'm telling you.
Because since Terry upgraded to AT&T Fiber with hyper-gig speeds, he doesn't worry about data caps or equipment fees.
Come on, man. The door's open for a reason.
And best yet, he also doesn't stress about a price increase at 12 months. Because with the amazing Gagillionaire lifestyle comes an exquisite sense of tranquility. Most of the time. Live like a Gagillionaire. Get straightforward pricing with AT&T Fiber. Internet that upgrades everything. No data caps, no equipment fees, and no price increase in 12 months.
So, we decided to sing about it.
So strong for your South Pole. Charmin keeps your undies whiter than the North Pole. Shiny, hiney, a brand new year. Come to Charmin, happy new year. Real holidays, be Charmin, clean, merry, and bright. May all your undies Charmin clean white.
Charmin Ultra Strong just cleans better. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
And iDesign Plus the Spruce Storage Bin starting at $12.98. Clean up your closet with the closet-made Brightwood Closet Kit starting at $119.98. Find it all at Lowe's Store and Save Event in-store and on Lowe's.com. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Valid to 3/18. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. U.S. only. iDesign Plus the Spruce Storage Bin. Pricing excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Stock up on fresh sheets and bedding from Charter Club Damask Designs, 40% off. Or shop specials like 40% off air fryers from Bella, Crux, and more. And the spacious 5-piece Radley sectional for $21.99. Plus, Macy's Star Rewards members earn on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees. Sign up today at Macy's.com/Star Rewards. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Speak louder. Jackpots echo throughout. And the thrill of it all is thunderous. Thunder Valley Casino Resort, where more than 3,000 slots, 100 table games, all new bingo and poker rooms, blend with award-winning dining, and AAA for diamond luxury. Winning big makes a sound on its own. Thunder Valley Casino Resort.
Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with the Big C Sports in Charleston. Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to people who love sports and talk fast. And level 1, what a beautiful, it is January the 28th, 2022, Rondo the Puente, Banjo, I want to say today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. If you go by and test drive yours, just tell them Charlton of Big C Sports Center, as well as a fleet of Cadillac cars. Also, all around the world, you can follow Big C Sports on 23. There's 23 podcast applications all over the universe. Allspeeds.ai, artificial intelligence. Also, you can follow Big C Sports on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts. You can find us on iHeart-Radio-Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. Also, there's one more before I got to catch my breath. It's called, I think I already said Podcast Addict, so give me some praise for that because it's hard to count to 11. Come on. It's hot in California. It's hot in their heels. We're getting ready for some California partying over the weekend down in Southern California. The 49ers and also the Rams kick off. You can also follow Big C Sports on Geo Savant Podcast. You can find us on Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podbay, and also Verbal Podcast. Give that some praise. Come on, California. California love. Give it some praise, California. We got a West Coast, Northern California, Southern California kicking off for the NFC Championship of the Universe. And Kansas City and Cincinnati will kick off for the Midwest Championship. You can also follow Big C Sports streaming on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. But I do appreciate that. Give that some praise. Come on, guys. I know it's almost time to kick off. I want to say, hey, thank you, Dave Brace, giving your football picks. It's all fair and love and war. Got to keep everything rolling strong. I love paying homage to my family legacy. On my mother's side, my great-grandmother called her Mamo. Just a wonderful, wonderful great-grandmother, always doing what it took to keep the family strong and food in our belly. The first one who made the Big C coffee, if that makes sense to him. And then also my grandfather called him Pop, a former Negro League baseball player, and known around the church as making the best moonshine in the universe. And saying, boys, get out of that bar. So I really appreciate that. Always doing everything to keep their family strong, and also grew a lot of his own food, if that makes sense to him. And then my beautiful grandmother, Mud Diaz, she was a seer, a smart, savvy business person, always working hard. I still remember a lot of things she told me when I was a little boy. And then my grandfather, Hezekiah, just another wonderful gentleman. Really do appreciate what he was able to do for the family. My beautiful mother, very proud of, helped start a Head Start program in Northern California and a food program to feed people, and also help win the Little League Championship of the universe. Give mama some praise. Come on, y'all. I said some praise, praise, praise. A Head Start program, a feeding program, and help to win the Little League Championship of the universe. Give that some praise. Really do appreciate that. Always saying rise and shine, and I will always rise and shine. On my father's side, my grandfather, the patriarch of the family, Albert Curry, a very intelligent businessman who was a pastor, had 2 churches in Northern California, actually in Oakland, California, built a 3rd church in Central California, also owned 2 service stations in Oakland, California. Really do appreciate how smart he was and how hard he worked. And then my beautiful grandmother, Alberta Curry, doing everything to help my grandfather with the churches, and also keeping the gas stations working and keeping the family strong. Really do appreciate that. And then my father, retired former Air Force fighter pilot and chief mechanic, making sure planes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. My beautiful brother Todd, with his bombastic voice, often sounds like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. Really do appreciate that. I love paying homage to my beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the universe, a graduate of a major university, 2 degrees with honors, graduated 3.5 years, would help me set up when coaches would come to the West Coast to help Big C Sports with merchandising. Really do appreciate that. My very handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the universe, college student, very smart, industrious, hardworking, doing everything he can to help me out with Big C Sports and give me NBA stats. Really do appreciate that. Always love as he rises and shines. Everybody do the best you can. I always want to say thanks to Big C with all of his wealth and knowledge in the past. Give everybody some praise. Come on, y'all. Give it praise, praise, praise. We all need somebody to lean on. And we all need to rise and shine no matter what. Always do the right thing and stand up for people, if that makes sense to you. You know, I want to just say, as far as the eye can see, I love saying what I'm going to say today on Big C Sports Podcast because I really do love it. There's a book by Jeff Olson. It was a big number 1 seller, and it talks about tools for massive success and then happiness, as if one person can tell everybody. It's 8 billion people on the planet. Everybody has their own way to get happiness. But the slight edge is a way of thinking that enables you to make the daily choices that will lead you to success and happiness that you desire, if that makes sense to you. But so I want to give that a little bit of praise to the great book, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. Really do appreciate that. But also my grandfather, a lot of people think a boxer promoter said this, but he said, let's get ready to rumble! He and his church friends. As they were drinking that moonshine after praying, they can see a lot farther. Big C Sports Podcast, ESPY-nominated Big C Sports Podcast. No scripts, no 3-way teleprompters, no producer in my ear, only some earwax and an earplug, if that makes sense to you. I always honor God. I walk and talk by faith and not by sight. I will always rise and shine. I produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all of the shows. I do all the sound effects based on what's provided by the agency. Really do appreciate that. We can all use more laughter in our life. Everybody can need more laughter in life. I also, the commercials done by the agency out of New York City. I provide the stats, the storytelling, the play-by-play. You'll hear a lot of that this week. Deebo Samuel's touchdown! San Francisco! Deebo Samuel, 20 yards! It's going to be a great game in Southern California. Can the Niners win 7 in a row over the Los Angeles Rams? They've never won more than 6 in a row over the LA Rams or even the St. Louis Rams, if that makes sense to you. But I think they're going to get it done this weekend. I also upload the show. It goes out to 23 multiple podcast applications all over. Oh, my God, I just had an epiphany. All over the universe. 23 podcast applications. They're playing in the 2-1-3, so there's 23 in there. Can they get one more win? Okay, I'm trying. I'm stretching for things. Bang, bang, 9 a game. All fair and level war. I started Big C Sports back in 2015. It was September 12, 2015. Never missed a show. And I think I'm the only sports show, as far as I know, the only sports show in the universe that always honors God. Every single show. Some people say, man, why you talk so much about God? I don't really know a lot of atheists, but they're the ones that ask that question. At the same time, I love quoting what I heard a lot growing up. In Genesis chapter 13, verse 15, it says, for all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever. In the book of James, chapter 4, verse 2, said, you have not because you ask not. If you want something, just ask and give asking some praise. I said, give it praise, praise, praise. I love doing my sports thing with the church because that's how I grew up, going to church, and we had our transistor radio in the back, me and my brothers, and sometimes it would turn up too loud. So, fair, love it. Really do appreciate that. I want to make sure, as people get ready for all the sports going on over the weekend, eating too much food, I'm going to tell everybody there's so much food in grocery stores that are getting ready for the theme of football and the theme of this NFC and the AFC championship game. Make sure you eat the Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with all the exotic meats. Also, for those of you who are thirsty, have that Big C coffee. It comes in one size, extra large. You can buy one cup, but it's enough to share with all your friends. Make sure you have that for your Super Bowl Sunday, but also for the AFC, NFC championship games. But don't forget, our Veterans Crisis Hotline, they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. They do a fabulous job. How many people, I want to ask a question, how many people would give their limbs or eyesight or whatever it is on their bodies to help keep this country strong so we could all watch football? Nobody would do it. That's not true. Veterans do it. Many of them have dealt with the ultimate sacrifice, and many of them have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. They need help at times. If you know anyone that needs some help, just give out this phone number. I love giving it out, 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. I promise they will not talk nearly as fast as I do. Unless you want them to, if that makes sense to you. But I love talking fast. I do everything fast. I eat fast. I drink fast. I sleep fast. You can also text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. You can give the Veterans Crisis Hotline some praise. Come on, y'all. Give it praise, praise, praise. We all need somebody to lean on, and they're always making sure that they're there when our veterans need someone to lean on. It could also be civilians as well. I also want to say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, God said, let there be light. Open your cell phones and say play. Big C Sports Podcast. You will see our apps pop up all over the world, and I really do appreciate that. I want to also say I love the affiliation with sports and also religion. I mix that with my shows. Also, real estate, valleyhomesweekly.com. They're a real estate show that features properties in Central California. If you want to know what's going on, and that's run by the great Dave Braze. If you want to know what's going on in the national picture in your neck of the woods for real estate, go to the nationalrealestatepost.com. That's the nationalrealestatepost.com. And I guarantee they won't talk any slower than I do. For those of you who like fast talkers. At the same time, if you want to know what's going on with mortgages all over this country, rates are going to tick up a little bit. There's projecting by the springtime. Go to mortgagedailynews.com. That's mortgagedailynews.com. You can find out what's going on with interest rates in the country. Also, very happy to be a funding affiliate with over 250 lenders waiting to fund you between $10,000 and $400,000 in funding. The money can be used for any purpose between business, startups, real estate investments, repairs and renovations, working capital, down payment assistance, investing in the stock market, debt consolidation, and even student loans. And I'm hoping that President Biden will write down student loans before be nice before the end of this summer. That would be great. So going into the fall of 2022, hopefully that would be not an issue. I know there's some state universities in California that if you have a work program, if you volunteer to give some work in a local community, that some state colleges in California are willing to give up the $10,000 of free tuition for students. That's a sea change for a lot of people. Give that some praise. A work program up to $10,000 of free education, free tuition per semester. That's amazing for full-time students. Really do appreciate that. I just love the fact that colleges are doing that. That's why I love bringing that up on the Big C Sports Podcast. Also, I just want to say to everybody that's out there in the world of sports, I know you even seen them run PSAs on it now. Everybody wants to win money. Everybody wants to have that winning lotto ticket. Everybody wants to go out and add more zeros to their bank account. That's fair in love and war. I was telling some people the numbers I was going to give out for the Mega Millions is 50, 52, 58, 63, 64, and 3. And that's, off the top you hit Steph Curry for 3. Okay, happens to be the Powerball. That's a clue, if that makes sense to you. But I want to make sure if you're going to go out and bet, don't bet more that you can lose. They're doing things on that because the bookies are cleaning house on sports betting. It's not about who wins all the time. It's about, do you cover the spread? I'll talk more about that as we get into the NFL predictions. Also, I want to say this segment is sponsored by Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% honest game. Sports fans, when you're watching the big game, you want to eat with the Big C Burger and the Tasty Burger. And it comes with all those exotic meats, and the exotic meats can be anything. In fact, there's some exotic meats in the games this weekend. It's not a clue, but a bingo and a ram, they would be exotic meats. A Chief and a 49er, they would not be exotic meats, okay? So, hopefully, for all of you who don't want to eat animals, maybe you'll vote for the 49ers and the Chiefs to get to the football. The Super Bowl 56. That's a clue for you who's going to end up in Super Bowl 56. Okay, I can't give out too many more clues. I don't want to lose my privileges. Membership has its privileges. Also, for you good old boys and good old girls out there, there's a lot going on in sports. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C's timeout. When I come back, I'm going to give you Big C's thoughts on the AFC and the NFC Championship football game of the universe. In the words of former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. All right, I'm back for the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe. We do appreciate that. And streaming on 4 TV applications. There's so much happening on a beautiful January the 28th, 2022. So as my great-grandfather used to always say, are you ready for some football? Of course you are. Even if people don't like football, they're going to watch these games over the weekend. For people that say, I can't stand football, I don't watch the game, that's fine. That people love the game, and I love the game too. Really do appreciate that. But I'm going to get into it. It's just my opinion. And just for you good old boys, I've only lost one game in all the playoffs. From the wild card weekend to the divisional playoffs. And now I think I'm going to go also undefeated this weekend with the championship game. They call it Championship Sunday. I call it Big C Sunday. Because C and championship start with a C. Get out of the brain. Oh, come on, you guys. You guys got to laugh. C and championship start with C. Anyway. Oh, enough of that. Some people don't get that joke. But I want to look at the NFL's conference championship round it's so stacked. When you think about it, they got you a lot of information that's out there. Everybody has their own thoughts too. I have my own thoughts. Been doing this for a long, long time. Sunday's NFC and AFC championship game. Everybody has their own thoughts about who's going to win, who's going to cover. And that, to me, makes it all the more exciting. We don't know. No one really knows. If the 49ers get in and the Bengals get in, that will be the third time that those two franchises have played in the Super Bowl. If the Chiefs get in and the 49ers get in, that would be the second time they play in the Super Bowl. So the teams that haven't played in the Super Bowl would be the Rams and also the Cincinnati Bengals. But from what I understand, there's a lot of people who are vegetarians that don't want to see that game. Come on, you guys, wake up. Wake up! The great Radio Raheem. Some people don't want to see animals being sacrificed for our gluttony. But anyway, I want to bring you to the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're playing at Kansas City, and the Chiefs have been there 4 years in a row, And Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator, and none of the white owners would interview him for a job. Not one, because he wins too much. If that makes sense. Yeah, all fair level war. But you have the showdown with touchdown Patrick Mahomes. He's the Matrix. And then you have Joe Burrow, and he's with the Cincinnati Bengals. He was sacked 9 times against Tennessee. And I think that's too much to overcome, being sacked that many times. And the only reason they're here is because they scored more points than Tennessee. And sometimes it happens when you throw 3 interceptions. They said, thank you, Ryan Tannehill, for not knowing what color uniforms your team, the Tennessee Titans, were wearing. That's funny. Okay, maybe it's not funny, but I think it's funny. So anyway, I'm going to get to my thoughts. Big C's thoughts. Everybody has their own opinion. In the AFC, you have the number 4 seed, Cincinnati Bengals, at the number 2 seed, Kansas City Chiefs. It's a Sunday, 3:30 p.m., actually a 3 p.m. kickoff East Coast time on CBS Sports. And Kansas City's favored by 7.5. The over-under is 54.5. Okay, Kansas City just came off a big overtime win at home versus the Buffalo Bills, and they put up a lot of points doing it. Maybe the greatest game that the NFL has ever seen in the divisional round, or maybe overall, if that makes sense to you. But then you have a matchup of 2 great teams. The Chiefs have been there before. Cincinnati hasn't been here since, I believe, the great Boomer Esiason went down to the wire and lost to the 49ers down in Miami. And that was, I believe, 33 years ago, if that makes sense to you. They also played again. They played earlier than that in Detroit, Michigan, and the 49ers won their first championship. That was Joe Montana and the good old boys back in the day. But when you look at the receivers for the Cincinnati Bengals, his name is Jamar Chase, and they will be chasing him all around the field. And he beat up on the Chiefs in December, that meeting between those 2 teams. He caught 11 passes for 266 yards. Not going to have that kind of success this time. He'll probably get over 100 yards, but he's not going to go for 160 or 260. But he'll probably get 100 yards, as they know he has to catch the ball. Oftentimes, double coverage can negate a lot of that, the yardage penalties, the yardage catches and receptions. He also had 3 touchdowns. He may get a touchdown, maybe even 2, but I doubt if he'll get 3 in this game. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not going to allow that to happen this time. All you got to do is double team the guy and realize that the offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals, how can they get better and improve on giving up 9 sacks? Oftentimes because Joe Burrow can't get out of the sack, and he holds the ball too long. If you hold the ball too long, then you're going to get hit. And Kansas City's gotten better. That's just my opinion. But I think about this also. When you look at what happened in Buffalo, Buffalo's a better offensive team than Cincinnati. And the Chiefs held them in check outside of 2 long touchdown passes that where the receiver or the defender fell down. One tied the game with about 13 seconds left. I'm sorry, Buffalo took the lead with 13 seconds. And we all know the story with Patrick Mahomes, touchdown Patrick Mahomes coming downfield and doing his thing with Travis Kelce, and they kicked the field goal to win. But just keep in mind, when you look at Josh Allen, he's a much more mobile quarterback than Joe Burrow. So he bought a lot of time to keep drives alive. Joe Burrow won't be able to do that. Plus, in the first game, Kansas City had 2 double-digit leads in that game, and they let it get away. Maybe they lost focus or whatever they call it. But, you know, if you win, you win. And when Kansas City played a bad game at Cincinnati, it took a field goal to win. They're in Kansas City now. They're going to have to go with the silent count. They're not going to be able to hear. So, Burrow's going to be in a tough hole, if that makes sense to you. Now, when you think about it, they already faced up against Stephon Diggs when they decided to shut him down for Buffalo. And I think Diggs and Jamar Chase, they're the same kind of receivers. But I think Chase is going to get his yards. But they shut down Stephon Diggs, right? And they're going to find a way to try to shut down Chase. I don't think they can, but I think it should be enough for the Chiefs to hold on. And if you think about another thing, Cincinnati, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd, plus running back Joe Mixon, along with Chase, the Chiefs, defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, he has schemes that are going to, they faced them already. But you're talking about a team in Cincinnati that went to Tennessee and they didn't even score 3 touchdowns. They won it on a field goal. And they had 3 interceptions to get there. Kansas City's a much different team than Tennessee, and the odds makers know that. The spread is 7.5, and I think they're gonna cover that because, in my opinion, they were already double-digit leads against Cincinnati in Cincinnati in front of a packed house. There's not going to be a letdown, in my opinion, but hey, it's all fair and love and war. Turnover here, turnover there can change things. A bad call here or there can change things. But I look at, this is my own opinion, and everybody has one. I'm telling you, the Chiefs quarterback touchdown, Patrick Mahomes, the Matrix, he's going to throw for at least 400 yards in this game. He will. He's going to throw the ball to his own players. He's not going to do what Ryan Tannehill did and throw it to anybody who's open. If that makes sense to you. How do you throw 3 interceptions when your defense got you 9 sacks? I tell you, the moonshine was flowing down in Tennessee. It didn't even look anyway. That's my own opinion. But these are two good football teams. I think touchdown Patrick Mahomes will go over a 400-yard passing mark because he's playing a defense in Cincinnati that's not as good as what he faced in Buffalo. And I think everybody understands that. Kansas City leaned on a successful run game in the second half of the first matchup against Cincinnati, which led to a quiet game from Mahomes, and they stopped passing the ball. They let him off the hook. They're not going to do that this time. Eric Bieniemy will make sure that Patrick Mahomes is dialed up the same way he was against Buffalo. Don't be shocked if the reigning AFC champions look more like the explosive plays in the passing game this time around and get their revenge against the Bengals. And Mahomes already has 782 passing yards and 8 touchdowns in 2 playoff games this season. He's going to go over 1,000 yards in the playoffs in this game. You heard it first on Big C Sports. It's a fact. You can put it in the book. Unless shenanigans happen. And they can happen. But I doubt it. When you think about it, there's some stories out there that Cincinnati Bengals quarterback, he's not Boomer Esiason. But Joe Burrow is the 6th player to enter the conference championship game with 50-plus sacks. You get sacked 50 times, how you get to the championship game? Have Ryan Tannehill throw 3 interceptions. Patrick Mahomes is not going to throw 3 interceptions. You've been sacked already 50 times. They got to work on that offensive line for Cincinnati. You just blitz and blitz and blitz. You want to beat Cincinnati? Watch what the Tennessee Titans did to them. They blitzed them a lot. You can't get out of the blitz. And his 62 are easily the most. The previous 5 quarterbacks all failed to reach the Super Bowl. They'll probably sack Joe Burrow. Just my opinion. You look at how many times they got to Josh Allen, he was able to run out of the sack. Joe Burrow most likely will get sacked in this game at least 5 times by the Chiefs. Because that defense is legit, and they're going to be coming after him. Unless there's some shenanigans. I don't think shenanigans are going to stop the Chiefs from getting to 4 in a row. Think about something else that's important. That Burrow is also the 5th player in the past 30 seasons to enter a conference championship game while leading the NFL on both completion percentage and yards per attempt, including playoffs. These are easy completions. The second-year quarterback has the NFL's best completion percentage over expectation, according to some NFL stats that are out there. I think the Chiefs need to heat up Burrow in the pocket, get to him the same ways. Look at what Tennessee did. They didn't score 3 touchdowns against Tennessee's defense. The Chiefs are playing better than what Tennessee was playing. I think also you look at outside linebacker Melvin Ingram III could play a big part. Expect Kansas City to scheme up and get some one-on-one matchups. I like what the Chiefs can do defensively, but offensively, that's when the fireworks start. And looking forward for them to have a really good offensive outset. If you look at some of the injuries, referee should not make an issue with this. Remember, Cincinnati in the game against the Raiders, where the whistle was blown and the Raiders stopped and Cincinnati the officials let Joe Burrow throw a touchdown pass anyway. They're not going to do that at Kansas City. It's just not going to happen. We have a crew that's working on, I think his name is Bill Avinovich's regular season crews. They changed in the playoffs, annually throws the fewest flags among the NFL's 17 crews. And this season's no exceptions. So he's going to be in the game. And so you won't see a lot of offensive holding, in my opinion, when quarterbacks go back to pass and run out of the pocket. So that's going to help Kansas City as well. I think there's something for the people who like Cincinnati. The Bengals have covered 6 straight games and 4 straight road games. They're also 5-1 against the spread as a road underdog this season. But Kansas City has covered 6 straight home games, and they are 7-1 against the spread in its past 8 games. with winning teams against winning records. And at the same time, Kansas City's not going to throw 3 interceptions. They may get 5 sacks or maybe more. And let's say Joe Burrow has a decent game and throws for 300 yards. He's going to have to. But will he be able to if he's laying on his back? And that's why I think the media wants to hype this game up. I don't see any way for them to win unless we have shenanigans. I'm not saying shenanigans won't happen in football because they've happened before, if that makes sense to you. But I don't think it's going to happen this time. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it. I've looked at it any way that I could, and when you get to Burrow 9 times in one game, and you don't score not even 3 touchdowns against the Tennessee Titans, and they won 19-16. You get 19 points against Kansas City, you're going to get maybe doubled up. But I don't see any way. I mean, things can happen, but based on what I see, Kansas City has already faced a better offense and a mobile quarterback last week in the Buffalo Bills, and that game went right down to the wire. But again, Buffalo made it close because they had 2 long touchdown passes, not drives, but passes that kept the game close. And Kansas City's kicker missed an extra point and a field goal. So it wasn't as close as it looked, but it was a great game. I'm telling you, it's amazing to see these great quarterbacks going at it. But I, as Big C Sports, I have my own thought on the opinion. The crowd's going to be so loud, you're going to have to go to silent counts if you're Cincinnati. If you're Kansas City, hopefully for a touchdown, Patrick Mahomes, the crowd will quiet down when they're trying to call plays, and that's going to help them offensively too. And I think the 7.5 is there for a reason, and that's why I'm going to go in this game. You saw what Kansas City did against Buffalo, a better team than Cincinnati. I'm not going to say they're going to score 42 points, but I'm going to go very comfortable saying that Kansas City will win this game by the score of it may not be the exact score, but 35-24. Okay? I think they're going to cover that double-digit mark, and that would be the 3rd time they've had double-digit leads over Cincinnati. WKRP is Cincinnati. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about Bang Bang Mannequin. There's gold in them their heels. And for the Rams, who bought all of our tickets? We'll be back in just a moment. All right, we are back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe and streaming on 4 TV applications. Really do appreciate that. Are you ready for some football? Are you ready for some California love? Come on, California love. I said, come on, California love. Ready for the California love in Southern California. They call it Levi South at the beautiful SoFi Stadium. And it's a great football venue. The people of Southern California have a gym. However, they can't fill it with their home crowd being outsold again by the 45er faith. They call it Bang Bang Niner game. The city by the bay invading Southern California like a tidal wave. And there's going to be a sea of red at beautiful SoFi Stadium. They call it Levi South. I'm looking forward to so many great things in this game. The 49ers are the only team right now in the playoffs that have had at least 3 sacks in 9 straight games. No other team has done that. And they sacked touchdown Aaron Rodgers 5 times last week. You get the touchdown Aaron Rodgers 5 times in one game, who's a much better quarterback than Matthew Stafford. They also, when you think about this, the Rams blew a 27-3 lead against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that were without their top 2 wide receivers and also one of their better offensive linemen to protect Tom Brady's. I mean, it's all fair and love and war. Not making any excuses. The Rams jumped out to a big lead over Tampa. But this is the same Rams team that jumped out to a big lead over San Francisco. That last time they were at SoFi, it was 17-0, and the Niners came back and outscored them 27-7. If you look at what happened up in San Francisco on November 15th at the stadium, at Levi Stadium, the 49ers jumped on the Rams 31-10. So if you look at 27 and 31, that's 58. That's what the 49ers scored in the last 2 games against the Rams. If you look at the Rams scoring 10 points in San Francisco and 24 points at home, but only 7 after they were up 17-0, that's just 34. 58 minus 34 is 24. Can they make up 24 points against this team in San Francisco? Because it's San Francisco South. I don't care what anybody says. Both teams are very capable of winning this game. But I know there's a lot of vegetarians in Los Angeles, and they don't like lamb. That's a joke. I got to get my joke, my punctuation with my jokes better. I got to get that. I just got to get my jokes down better. But they don't like lamb in Southern California. They like sushi. It's still something. Anyway, all fair and level war. But I love this game. It has so much intrigue. Now, the 49ers, if they win this game, and I predict they will, it's their 75th anniversary for the San Francisco 49ers. Bang, bang, Niner game. What a great organization they've had in San Francisco. And they've only, unlike LA, they're not vagabonds. They started in San Francisco, and that's where they are. They're still in the Bay Area. People say, well, they used to be at Hunters Point. Now they're down in Silicon Valley. Still considered the Bay Area. The Rams, they've been in Los Angeles. They hated it there in Los Angeles. They moved down to Anaheim. They hated it there in Anaheim. They moved to St. Louis, Missouri. They hated it in St. Louis, Missouri. And now they're back in Los Angeles. Where will they move next? I hear they need a stadium in Oakland. Anyway, but the Rams have been vagabonds. The fans have been front-runner fans. There was a time that Los Angeles did not even have NFL football when the Raiders moved back to Oakland and the Chargers were in San Diego where they should have stayed based on how their fans don't appreciate them. So now they're the vagabond team. Just like a lot of their players, they're vagabond. They take players from different teams. Matthew Stafford, he left one animal in the Detroit Lions and came to join another animal in the LA Rams. Von Miller left an animal. He left the Denver Broncos and came to join another animal in the LA Rams. And they're saying these two guys are going to make a difference. I don't think so. It doesn't make any sense. And if they can make up 24 points that they lost by combined the last two games, again, they only scored 7 points in San Francisco as far as a touchdown. The other was a field goal. Okay? In LA, they were up 17-0, and the 49ers adjusted. Their defensive coordinator, he's legit. Should have a coaching job. Miko Ryans next year. He's amazing if you look at what he's done. And so the 49ers have mastered the Rams' offense. That same Matthew Stafford that they say, oh, this guy's going to lead the Rams to where they want to go. No, he's going to throw interceptions in this game. He can't help it unless shenanigans happen. Los Angeles Rams, they've never won a Super Bowl. People say, what are you talking about? They won their only Super Bowl when they were the St. Louis Rams. When they were in Los Angeles, they actually played in Anaheim. They lost to the Steelers, I believe, at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. But they have a wonderful history. Now, they won championships. You're going back in the days of Deacon Jones, but they have never won a Super Bowl as a Los Angeles franchise, only as the St. Louis Rams, and that's part of it. The 49ers have 6 Super Bowl championships in their history. If that makes sense to you. Now, I look at what's happened with the 49ers. They could go to the 7th Super Bowl. They have, beg your pardon, 5 Super Bowl championships. Maybe I'm right. Man, I read the script too soon. Okay. I told you I got one producing. Don't give away the prize, man. So they have 5 Super Bowl championships, but they've been to 6. If that makes sense. Now, I look at what's going on with the 49ers. They have lost 2 Super Bowls. They lost to the Ravens and they lost to the Chiefs. Could have won that game, but could have, ifs, or could have, would have, right? But they're going for the 7th Super Bowl for the 49ers. And I know that everybody has their own hope. They had so much history that comes out of San Francisco. Going back to even if you look at the days before Joe Montana, they had Brody. Of course, you have the great Colin Kaepernick. They had so much going on in San Francisco that have gone to the Super Bowl. Steve Young. They've been there before. And now Jimmy Garoppolo, who's much maligned for some reason, all he does is win games. And he's here again in another championship game, a guy that nobody wants. Doesn't matter to him. But he's doing his thing. But the Rams have tried to go all over the world to find players that can come there and help them win. And we'll see what happens. So I'm just going to give my thoughts on it. And everybody has their own thoughts. I just want to see a really good game. It is what a lot of people say, California love. So California love coming into beautiful SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California. And why is your cup so big? The only place big enough is the SoFi Stadium, the only indoor stadium big enough to have the Big C coffee. It's a tasty coffee, and it comes with exotic beans. Really do appreciate that. But I've been thinking about this game ever since the 49ers came back home and opened up in 2021 at Levi Stadium against the Green Bay Packers. But the 49ers, that number 6 seed, taking on the Rams, a number 4 seed, is Sunday, 6:30 p.m. East Coast time on Fox Sports. And the spread is the Rams by 3.5. That's a Las Vegas special. I just told you they lost 2 games by combined 24 points. How are they now a 3.5-point favorite? So what I'm going to have you watch for, the 49ers have won 6 straight games over the division rival, the Rams, including a 17-point beatdown, and it come from behind Week 18 to clinch a playoff berth. Why was it a beatdown? Because when they were down 17-0, they outscored them 27-7. That's called a beatdown. That's the same Rams team that have a 3.5-point favorite, according to the bookies. So maybe some shenanigans are going to happen, but not based on what I've seen on the field. When you come from behind to win a Week 18 clinched or go home playoff berth, and they did it, the 49ers bring all-pro receiver, the great touchdown maker, Deebo Samuel, and tight end George Touchdown Kittle. They have a very tough team. They're resilient. They are a big, bruising team. They play smash-mouth football, bang-bang 9 a game is what the fans call them. And while the Rams have a proven knack for scoring on explosive plays against the Arizona Cardinals that really didn't even show up, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that didn't have their best 2 receivers and the best offensive linemen that didn't show up, but they did come back and tie that game. How did Cooper Kupp get deep in the secondary against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Not going to happen against the 49ers. I mean, he may have some plays, but that's just not going to happen in this game unless shenanigans take place, and I don't think they will, but who never knows? They want to get L.A. into the Super Bowl. They built that big stadium, and they wanted to pay off. But the Rams have a proven knack of scoring quickly, but at the same time, they have a proven knack of throwing interceptions. Touchdown Matthew Stafford that never won a playoff game in Detroit, and he won 2 in Los Angeles, beating the Cardinals and also beating the Buccaneers that were shorthanded on both teams. No Hopkins for Arizona, and again, Tampa Bay had their 2 top receivers missing. So Cooper Kupp led the league in receiving, and what the Rams must do is finally get the best of the Niners to advance to the Super Bowl 56. I don't think they can do it because Stafford's going to get sacked. He's going to throw at least 2 interceptions. Don't need to reinvent the wheel here. If the 49ers run the ball 35 times a game, they are 19-0. 19-0. The first 2 games combined, they ran the ball 71 times. That's 35 times in one game and 36 times in the other, and they won both. That's a clue, Shanahan, unless shenanigans happen. That's just a fact. I'm about the facts. I'm not about hyperbole. So when you look at the 49ers quarterback, touchdown Jimmy G, he's going to come out of his funk in this game. He's probably going to throw 2 touchdown passes. And he's yet to throw for a score in these playoffs. They haven't had to. That's a clue. If your quarterback's having his worst playoff performance and they were able to go on the road and beat the Dallas Cowboys, held Dallas to 7 points with 7 minutes left in the game, the Cowboys only had 7 points, went to Green Bay. The first drive, they got 7 points. For 3.5 quarters, Green Bay only scored 3 points against that defense. That same defense that's going to SoFi Stadium. They haven't gotten worse, they've gotten better. They played in the freezing cold, the frozen tundra. I think in LA they'll have the temperature set to about 70 degrees at SoFi Stadium. He's going to break out of his touchdown drought. He's going to have at least 2 touchdowns. He's had 2 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Don't throw the deep ball, you'll be fine. 5 10-yard outs, you'll be fine. Run yards after the catch. In his 5 playoff starts, Jimmy G, touchdown Jimmy, has had a history of playing well against the Rams. He has a 71.7 total QBR, won all 6 starts against the Rams, playing some of his worst football, except for the last time. I think he figured out what to do to their defense. The offensive line for the 49ers, they're stout, they're big, and because Shanahan's the greatest in the NFL at calling misdirection run plays, the Rams have to stay at home because they think they're going to face a pass and they have a running back coming at them, Elijah Mitchell or Deebo Samuel. Just an opinion. The Niners have a strong run game, and that's helped Jimmy Garoppolo. And now he knows he can throw the ball because they got to come up and stop the run if you're the Rams. He's going to have the chance to throw downfield. You don't have to throw 30 and 40 yards, just 5, 10, 15 yards. Ayuk, Samuel, Kittle, they can break tackles. Mitchell out of the backfield. Even Trey Sermon may get a chance to play. But think about this too. For the Rams, this is the hope for LA, the vagabond team. They have some mid-season acquisitions. For the Rams, since joining Los Angeles Week 10, receiver Odell Beckham Jr., he's second on the team in receptions at 37. He's caught a touchdown in 6. Think about this. In 6 of 10 games played, he caught 10 of 12 targets this postseason. He's a good player. Outside linebacker, touchdown, future Hall of Famer Von Miller has recorded at least 1 sack in 6 straight games. But if you watch that first game against the 49ers, he was also pancaked a couple of times by the linemen for the 49ers. Tied for the longest streak of his career, and then 3 other times, most recently in 2018, opposing quarterbacks have posted a 2.3 total QBR with both Miller and defensive tackle Aaron Donald rushed the passer this season. Aaron Donald, he's a quick player, but he's not big. He's not a 310-pound lineman. So he's been neutralized a lot against the 49ers. I think you got to watch for linebacker Fred Warner to play a role as a blitzer for the Niners. They don't have to blitz. They can just rush 4. You're going to have Bosa doing his thing for the 49ers, getting after Matthew Stafford. Also, I just think about when you look at the 49ers defense, Warner's going to have a great game, Fred Warner. Eric Armstead's going to have a great game. Jamie Ward's great in this as a free safety. They have so much defense against the Rams, and that's why they've outscored them 24 points in 2 games. And they don't have to blitz to get pressure on you. When you think about what's going on in this game, referee Carl Shepard, regular season crew, led the NFL with 16 flags thrown per game. So you're going to look for some offensive holding, and that's going to hurt the Rams because they throw the ball more than the 49ers. Again, to me, the key is simple. If the 49ers run the ball at least 35 times, they are 19-0. If they don't run the ball 40 times in this game, Shanahan, maybe they can look for a new coach. There's a lot of them looking for jobs. But he'll have the ball running at least 35 to 40 times in this game. It's a no-brainer. Just like don't drink and drive is a no-brainer. Some people do it. Think about this. The Rams saw 92 flags and the 49ers 117 during the regular season. I told you, if there's any shenanigans, watch how many flags are thrown on the 49ers. As the home crowd road team, if that makes sense for you. His crew threw 10 flags for roughing the passer. Tied for 6th most in the NFL and 61 for offensive holding. 2nd most in the league. The 49ers don't have to hold a lot when they run the ball. The Rams got to hold a lot to keep the pass rush from the Niners from getting after him. Stafford gets restless in the pocket, throws interceptions. Los Angeles, for you bettors out there, they're 6-2 against the spread in his past 8 games. Come on, against Arizona and Tampa, both have depleted and didn't have their best receivers. But San Francisco are 9-2 against the spread in its past 11 games with 4 straight covers. Plus, the 49ers are 4-1 against the spread in the playoffs under Kyle Shanahan. And when they run the ball 35 times, they don't lose. Bang, bang, Niner game. The crowd is going to be about 60-40 San Francisco fans. You're going to see a sea of red. And to me, it's going to make all the difference in the world. It's a great matchup. It's Northern California versus Southern California. If you go to baseball, the San Francisco Giants had won 107 games in Major League Baseball. The Dodgers won 106. They had that 1-game playoff at Oracle Ballpark in San Francisco, and the Dodgers won. They came to San Francisco and won. And the Giants had the best record they've ever had in baseball. But the Dodgers came up and beat them. It's personal. And now you have Bang Bang Niner game going down to Southern California, and the LA crew, the LA fan base, and also the owners that be, well, how are the Niners able to buy more tickets than our fans? Because there's gold in them their heels, if that makes sense to you. And I hope we see a great game. But just for stats-wise and facts-wise, if Shanahan has 35 to 40 runs, the 49ers win. If he doesn't, something's up. It's all fair and doesn't work. I'm going to take the Big C pause. After I tell you the score of this game, I'm going to have 49ers 31, Los Angeles Rams 23. 31-23, the Niners win, and they go to Super Bowl number 56 for the 7th game in the Super Bowl. All scrambled up award. Take the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. In the words of former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. Bang, bang, 9 a game. Come on, guys. Bang, bang, 9 a game. All right, we're back for the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe. And 4 TV applications streaming. Really do appreciate that. Got some NBA games tonight on a beautiful Friday, January 28th, 2022. Big C's thoughts. Some great games, a big schedule for tonight. We have Detroit games already underway at Orlando. The LA Lakers at Charlotte, and that's on ESPN. A couple of players are out for the Lakers. King James, one of them. The Boston Celtics down in Atlanta, taking on the Atlanta Hawks. Denver Nuggets over in New Orleans, taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. The LA Clippers taking on the Miami Heat. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Portland Trailblazers are on the road at Houston, Utah, taking on the Memphis Grizzlies down in Tennessee. And then you have Indiana taking on, I got to get my producer to wake up, Radio Joaquin. What's that, Radio Joaquin with the he got game or something like that? Wake up! Come on, take it on the OKC Thunder. Oh my goodness! And then you have Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Oh, hold on, that's the wrong script. Man, my producer's been sleeping. He needs some Big C coffee. It comes in one size extra large. But the Chicago Bulls taking on the San Antonio Spurs. These games are already underway. And then Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Phoenix Suns down in the Valley of the Sun. That game tipped off. And then coming up shortly, the New York Knickerbockers taking on the defending NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. And that should be a game up in Milwaukee that they should handle. Give the NBA basketball some praise. Come on, guys. Give it praise, praise, praise. Love it. I love it. I love it. I can't wait for the California Love. The California Love kicks off down in beautiful Southern California. We also got some NBA players. The All-Star teams have been chosen. I know a lot of people have already looked into who's going to be in the All-Star game. There's a lot of great football happening right now. NBA still takes a back seat, but the All-Stars for 2022, they're already out. A lot of people already know who they are in the All-Star games. Looking forward to that, too. We'll see how well that works out. The 10 players that will be starting in the 2022 NBA All-Star Game in the Western Conference. LeBron James for the Los Angeles Lakers. He's only 37 years old, and he's still doing his thing. The great Nikola Jokic, the reigning MVP for the Denver Nuggets. He'll be doing his thing for the Western team. And then Steph Curry for the Golden State Warriors. I love what I hear. The Splash Brothers are back together. It's, what's it called? Steph Curry for 3! There was a song by Ashley Simpson called Back Together Again. And it's good to have the Splash Brothers back together again, looking like a champion in form. He's had a little bit of hitch in his shooting lately, but he'll get that worked up. Andrew Wiggins for the Golden State Warriors. He's been a big surprise for the All-Star game, but he'll do his thing also. The great Ja Morant, the Memphis Grizzlies superstar. He's already a superstar. He's just going to get bigger and stronger if he lifts weights and do what Michael Jordan did back in the day. He's only 22 years old. What were you doing when you were 22? In the Eastern Conference, NBA All-Star game, the great Kevin Durant. He's the captain of the Brooklyn Nets. I hope he's going to be okay. He has that sprained MCL in the knee that was given 4 to 6 weeks. The timeline to come back is January. Later it's going to be later, most likely going to be later in February that he gets back. All friend level work. Got to be safe. You know, he had that injury that kept him out for a whole year when he had the torn Achilles, so you got to be careful with him. And then the defending NBA champion, game MVP, King. That's King Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Milwaukee Bucks, and he's going to be in that game going up against the Western Conference. Might be the best man in the NBA outside of the great Joel Embiid. 76ers, Philadelphia 76ers, and he finished runner-up MVP last season, having a great season. He's a problem to handle, really like him. And then you have from Atlanta, the Hawks, the great Trey Young. Trey Young doing his thing. He just has to lift more weights. He's a rising superstar. Imagine when these guys get bigger and stronger, the same way Michael Jordan did back in the day. He came onto the scene as a skinny guy out of North Carolina, and then he got into the weight room and started lifting weights, and it changed things. So when you think about the NBA All-Star Game, it's going into next week, or next month, also next week, Black History Month, and they're going to have the All-Stars reserves announced on February the 3rd, and the 2022 NBA All-Star Game. It will tip off Sunday, February 20th in Cleveland, Ohio at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. So a lot of people are looking forward to that, and hopefully they will have everybody just staying safe and having the best All-Star Game that we can. They've been mostly for entertainment purposes. Not a lot of defenses have played in the All-Star Games, but it is just a lot of great things happening. So I'm really excited about this weekend of NFL football. Of course, everybody loves football. 90 of the top 100 shows on TV for last year were NFL football games. So for anybody that says, well, I really don't watch football, well, a lot of the people in the country do. And just before we close out here on Big C Sports, the AFC Championship game, Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs, is a 3 o'clock p.m. kickoff time, East Coast time, Sunday on CBS Sports. And then the game, the California Love Bowl, is going to be at SoFi Stadium Sunday. It's the 49ers taking on the Rams at 6:30 p.m. kickoff, East Coast time Sunday on Fox Sports. And I've given my picks for, I think we're going to have a game in Super Bowl 56. It's just my thoughts that it'll be safe for all the vegetarians because they don't have to see animals being eaten. That's just my opinion. Maybe it's not funny to everybody, but you can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over, Universe, and 4 TV applications streaming. Really do appreciate that. But back in the day, there's a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, flow like a butterfly, sing like a bee, you rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? All of them say, I'm so pretty, I'm can't possibly be beat because all these Big C burgers make me out of my feet. Plus that Big C coffee that comes in one size, extra large. It makes me rumble, young man, rumble. I want everyone to have a safe, beautiful weekend, enjoying whatever you do for fun. Just be safe, no drinking and driving. I know that's a facility some people just won't learn, but please no drinking and driving. You got a lot of people counting on you to make the right call. Make the call, no drinking and driving. Take it with the keys. My beautiful mother always says there's never an excuse for racism or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, please pick up the phone and ask for help because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And that's we always tell you on every Big C Sports show. We thank you. We appreciate you. And we hope that you have a super fantastic day.